Hello everyone, good evening. No, things are not looking any better in the national capital on the pollution front. We are in a situation where we are smoking 30 cigarettes a day, and when air quality enters poor, it is considered good. Today, once again, the Supreme Court has stepped in and shamed the AAP and the BJP for their toxic politics that has converted Delhi into a gas chamber. But ladies and gentlemen, what do I say about our politicians and their priorities? It's a bit like you trying to hit your head against the wall. Their approach to pollution in India's national capital varies from juvenile to knee-jerk. Please allow me to show you something, and we'll put this full screen. This video has been posted by the BJP's IT cell head, and I'm going to make you listen to the audio track as well. Listen into the sound effect, and you know what Mr. Malviya is trying to say, that the Ravan of Delhi's pollution is Arvind Kejriwal. Is Delhi's chief minister responsible for the great choke, ladies and gentlemen? Of course he is. AAP, after all, rules Delhi and Punjab. And there is no reason why stubble burning in Punjab should continue to burn Delhi. But is he the only one? No, he isn't. Meet the other villains of Delhi. This is Bhagwant Mann on your screens. He's the Chief Minister of Punjab. Punjab farm fires are down. They are down 35%. But they are still responsible for 66% farm fires right now. Delhi's November pain is largely because of Punjab. Actually, Mr. Bhagwant Mann's own district, Sangrur, is the biggest offender, and he still hasn't told us where the famed biodecomposers that were widely advertised last year, where they are. These biodecomposers were supposed to eliminate farm fires. You had told us that they had been made in the Pusa Institute of Technology here in Delhi. What happened to those biodecomposers and the machines you were supposed to give farmers? No answers to all of that. Next, meet another chief minister. This is the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. Ladies and gentlemen, don't kid yourselves. Greater Noida is as bad as Delhi, and polluting industries and gensets from UP make the NCR a living hell in November. That is a fact. And let's not forget, there is Parali burning in Uttar Pradesh as well. Have you heard from Yogi Adityanath on pollution? No, you haven't. It's not a priority. Let's get you another offender. Haryana. Its chief minister, Manohar Lal Khattar, has been quiet, but Gurgaon is one of the most polluted cities in the world. And again, the state has stubble burning issues. Stubble burning in Haryana directly impacts the Great Delhi Choke. The chief minister of Rajasthan. Yesterday, Bhimandi was the most polluted city in India, not Delhi. Busy campaigning, he has had absolutely no time to address the issue of stubble burning in his own state. And last but not the least, have you heard or seen India's environment minister in the last 6 days or 7 days? There's a health emergency in the city he lives in. He lives in Delhi. But he's been away for a while campaigning in Madhya Pradesh. Who cares about the lungs of citizens when there is an election to be won? We need to hear from this man on your screens. The Supreme Court has given all these men and their states a severe tongue lashing today, and they have asked them to get into a room and find a solution. In fact, the Supreme Court today spoke on 3 major issues. A, stubble burning. B, firecrackers. And 3, the odd and even scheme. Slamming these bickering Netas, the Supreme Court said that instead of passing the buck, all these state governments and the center need to act. They are saying air quality in Delhi is essentially a bit like murdering people's health. They are talking about Parali. They are saying you need to come down heavily on Parali. This is your job. That's what they've told the Aam Aadmi Party. This is your job. And if you continue to let stubble burning happen, it's like murdering people's health. It has asked Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan to stop stubble burning immediately. In fact, the Supreme Court has also identified stubble burning as a major contributor to pollution. I'm going to quote Justice Kaul, who said that he witnessed stubble burning in AAP-ruled Punjab himself. He also pointed out at the AAP government's failure to control these farm fires and ordered the state to stop it. Now, while AAP in Punjab has had to face the Supreme Court's wrath today, let me also show you some numbers. Amidst the blame game, fact is, the numbers say otherwise in one particular context. Farm fires in Punjab are actually down compared to last year. They are down by 35%. In this period, last year, there were 29,000 farm fires. Last year, in 2022. Those farm fires have actually come down to 19,000. That's still not good enough. If you look at the major contributors in India to farm fires, Punjab is the highest at 66%. So while it has got its figures down to 35% from 29,000 to 17,000, it's still not good enough because they are responsible for 66 farm fires in India. Look at who else is contributing. BJP ruled Madhya Pradesh. BJP ruled Haryana, BJP ruled Uttar Pradesh, and Congress ruled Rajasthan as well. So all these states are major contributors to stubble burning, but the biggest contributor remains Punjab with 66%. That's farm fires for you. The Supreme Court also spoke about firecrackers. And this is what the Supreme Court said. This is a significant observation. The Apex Court said that its directives against the use of banned chemicals in firecrackers applies to all states and not just Delhi and its neighboring areas. So essentially what the Supreme Court is saying is this: there will be a complete ban on firecrackers in the NCR region. So you can't even burst green crackers. But for the rest of India, the Supreme Court has said there is a firecracker ban in the rest of India as well, but they can burn green crackers. The Supreme Court has also put the onus on citizens. The Supreme Court has said that curbing pollution is not just the responsibility of the courts in India, but also ours as ordinary citizens, and that we must do what we can to curb air pollution. It also said, and let's put that graphic out as well, if the entire nation wants to celebrate by polluting the environment, then it is nothing but being selfish. Okay, again, some numbers here. Because while the Supreme Court is putting the onus on citizens, it's not like citizens have been completely selfish and irresponsible. The numbers on your screens are actually showing that citizens have done their bit. This is air quality data from the National Capital post-Diwali in 2022, which means last year. It stood at 303, which is in the very poor category, but it's good for Delhiites because this was Delhi's cleanest post-Diwali air in 7 years. So which means small steps go a long way. But the point is, when the Supreme Court says, don't burn firecrackers or burn just green firecrackers, what does green firecrackers even mean? Where are they available? Who is there to check in this country whether someone is burning or people are burning green firecrackers or other firecrackers? These are pictures that came in to us from Dharamshala. Fireworks on your screens to mark India's winning moments. Went on for some 8-10 minutes. Of course, you understand celebrations. Cricket is not a sport in India, it's an emotion. But again, who knows whether these were green firecrackers or otherwise? And who's watching and who's monitoring? That is a question that we still have not been able to answer. The courts can say what they want to say and what they need to say, but where is the implementation to what the court says? Who will implement that only green firecrackers are burnt in this country and nothing else? Okay. The Delhi government's much debated odd and even scheme aimed at curbing air pollution has also come under the Supreme Court's scrutiny. They're not very happy. In a sharp observation, the Supreme Court has labeled the odd and even scheme mere optics with no substantial impact. Delhi is now gearing for its fourth implementation of the odd and even scheme from November 13th to 20th. But what Delhi is now saying, and Delhi's Environment Minister is now saying, is let us just read what exactly the Supreme Court has said, and once we are sure, we will take a decision on the odd and even scheme and the sort of exemptions we should be giving. Essentially, as things stand today, there is a question mark over the odd and even scheme because the Supreme Court is asking where is the proof that it actually works. Listen in to Gopal Rai, the Environment Minister of Delhi.
हमने ऑड इवन लागू करने के लिए क्या क्या नियम होंगे वो आपको सूचित करना था। हमने निर्णय लिया है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आने के बाद एक बार हम उसको स्टडी करेंगे और जो जो सुझाव या जो जो ऑर्डर में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का निर्देश आएगा उसको फिर इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हुए उसके अनुसार हम अपनी योजना को बनाएंगे।
So the Supreme Court essentially has called the odd and even scheme mere optics. What are studies saying? There are several studies that have analyzed the scheme's effectiveness, and these studies tell us that odd and even has yielded mixed results. For example, in its first avatar, when it was implemented on January 1st in 2016, the exemptions were many. Emergency vehicles were exempted, police vehicles were exempted. You understand that. But why were two-wheelers exempted? That's the maximum number of vehicles on Delhi's roads. They were exempted. Women-driven cars were exempted. So in short, the odd-even scheme only applied to private four-wheelers driven by men. What happened? In its first avatar, we were told that odd and even witnessed a 14 to 16% reduction in PM 2.5 levels while it was in action. This was according to the Energy Policy Institute at the University of Chicago and Evidence for Policy Design. So that was one study. But there was another study done by IIT Delhi, and their research showed that there was a mere reduction of 2 to 3% in air pollution because of the odd and even scheme. Again, as I said, studies vary. Then, when it was implemented the second time in 2016, exactly same exemptions. And I mean, if you have to have a scheme, why have these exemptions? Again, no reduction in pollution as reported by the Energy Policy Institute. Even the air quality data from the Center for Science and Environment revealed a drop in air pollution for the first 9 days, followed by a significant increase from April 2022. Now, as per India Spend, the pollution levels then only increased. The PM 2.5 levels increased by 23% and PM 10 by 22% compared to the previous fortnight. In short, the end result of the second odd-even scheme was worse than the first one. It not just failed to reduce pollution levels, but it also failed to decongest India's roads. A large number of commuters ignored the road rationing scheme right from the first working day. 3. What happened to Scheme 3? I don't want to confuse you. I just want to tell you why the Supreme Court has said what it has said. Again, in 2019, there was a steeper fine for violators. This time, two-wheelers, electric vehicles, medical emergency vehicles, school transport, VIP vehicles, women-only vehicles, differently abled passengers, all exempt. Result, again, not very encouraging for obvious reasons. The Delhi Technological University said in its study that the level of particulate matter had reduced by only 4.7 to 5.7%. A study conducted by the Council on Energy, Environment and Water concluded that the latest edition did not provide any substantial benefit either. More importantly, the report highlighted that transportation and two-wheelers remain major pollution contributors in Delhi, essentially taking the sting off the scheme. Okay, so that is odd and even. Another thing that the Delhi government loves to tom-tom about are these. Do you know what these are, ladies and gentlemen? These are something called smoke towers. The Supreme Court was very unhappy with these smoke towers that have been procured for crores of rupees. Today, the Delhi Pollution Body Chief was summoned. The chairman's name is Ashwani Kumar. And he was summoned because two smoke towers in the national capital, right when the national capital is seeing an air emergency, they're shut. The Supreme Court has said that Delhi cannot be made to go through this toxic air crisis every year. They have directed the operationalization of these two smoke towers immediately. For what reason? A, they may or may not work. There's a big question about whether these smoke towers are a complete waste of money, if this is money down the drain, as it were. But if you have bought them for crores of rupees, at least ensure that when Delhi's air pollution is hazardous, these smoke towers are working. They are also not working, something that the Supreme Court had to point out. I thank my guests for their patience. Harish Khuranna, thank you very much, spokesperson of the BJP. Sanjeev Kaushik, political analyst, speaking on behalf of the Aam Aadmi Party, because as always, the Aam Aadmi Party has refused to send a representative to us on the show. Bahar Dutt is an environmentalist, and Amit Bhatt is the MD at ICCT India. Thank you very much. Before I start with the politicians, I want to start with Bahar. Bahar, you've heard what the Supreme Court has said today. Was this a deja vu moment for you? Because this is not the first time that the Supreme Court has fumed, the Supreme Court has been angry, the Supreme Court has said that stop stubble burning as soon as you can. They've been saying it for years now, and nothing seems to change.
Well, Shreya, I share your anger. And, you know, when a train accident happens, who do we hold responsible? We hold, the railway minister responsible. We expect him to resign. When the lungs of millions of people in this city are at stake, where do we as citizens go? Who do we hold accountable? Where is our environment minister? So I would say the buck stops with him. We need our environment minister to come forward and make a statement. And this has nothing to do with BJP versus Congress versus Aam Aadmi Party politics. I would, as a citizen of this country, want to know where is my environment minister and what has he done? This is a fairly predictable script. We've been talking about this in my years as an environment journalist. I could write the script in my sleep. As I speak to you right now, I have two young girls who are choking and struggling to breathe. You and I, at least in our childhood, had 10 years of clean air. I have children who have never seen what is clean air. So that's what we're dealing with. And I feel that our politicians in this tutu meme are really compromising on our lungs. So I speak as a storyteller who's frustrated because I feel we've not been able to push the needle in the right direction. I also speak as a frustrated mother. I speak as a frustrated patient because I too have asthma. And it is instigated by the bad air that I breathe. And what do we do? I know people who can afford to go away. They go sit in the hills and they have, they can do their work from home. But what about the rest of us? We don't have those choices. What about the guard who's standing outside the whole day? What about the poor people who live on the roads? So I know you've asked a bunch of questions and I'm raising those same questions. But I'd just like to say that if we have to have some action, we have to start holding people accountable. That starts with the environment minister. It starts with our pollution control boards. We haven't spoken about them. And perhaps when other people have had the chance to speak, I would like to know how much action has been taken by the DPCC officers, the Central Pollution Control Board. Are they equipped to deal with this crisis?
Harish Khuranna, then let me ask you what Bahar is asking. And this is something I was asking yesterday. This is something I'm asking today as well. Where is India's environment minister? Where is Mr. Bhupendra Yadav? Why is he in Madhya Pradesh breathing clean air while all of us here in the national capital region are breathing toxic air that is killing our children 10 years earlier than they should? Mr. Khuranna, you are someone who's been brave enough to come to the show because I know that you had a bit of a health crisis as well. But look at your own condition. Someone like you will not be able to step out for a walk. And that is the situation with people across the city. Where is Bhupendra Yadav? How can we be told that the central government has nothing to do with the NCR's pollution?
Shreya, can I come in now? Shreya, I'm listening to your package since last 20 minutes and I'm thinking that I think now the state government environment ministry should become directly under central ministry. I think all the environment minister of the state should resign and hand over to central ministry. I'm not going to bickering right now of who has done what and who has done not and where is environment minister right now. Where is our Delhi chief minister since 2 days before? He was in political tourism doing since last 5-7 days. Where was he? Then the question will rise that also. Point is today we are living in a emergency health situation. And unfortunately, my Delhi CM is busy in doing a topi transfer and a vigilance chief minister. When I say this, a vigilance chief minister, I have seen your data regarding Punjab parali has come down, but unfortunately, you have not given a data of what Haryana has done till as on date. Haryana parali stubble burning is only 1,315 in compared to 19,000 odd cases in Punjab. So 10 times more parali is burning in Punjab right now compared to Haryana. If you compare about Uttar Pradesh, I have a data with me of 1,332 cases till 1st of November as of now. I mean, point is, we all know 49% is the total contribution of October, November, December of pollution, Delhi pollution is stubble burning. Yet, 2 years before, when Amrinder Singh was there in the government, the Congress government, that times Punjab was the only responsible government for stubble burning. Now what about Bhagwan Maan? Bhagwan Maan was with you for 5 days. Have you ever summoned him and tell him, boss, Punjab ki parali jal rahi hai, immediately stop him, which now today Supreme Court has come and intervened and said ki stop immediately Punjab parali. But you are not taking of that. You talk about center, what center has done. 3,333 crore rupees have been given last year to Haryana, Punjab and Delhi NCR for stopping the stubble burning. CRM machines have been given. Listen. Give me 30 more seconds. 1,35,000 machines, CRM machines have given to Punjab, 80,000 machines are given to Haryana. When after getting 80,000 machines, Haryana stubble burning came down to 1,390 odd numbers. Why not Punjab when they got 1,50,000 odd CRM machines? I mean, 19,000 cases have come up. Okay, are you saying 35% has come down? But comparing this today, 10 times more stubble burning is burning in Punjab today. 10 times more, which is more hazardous.
Harish ji. Supreme Court ने आज क्या बोला है? Stop this blame game.
Yes, Shreya.
Stop the politics and stop this blame game. So every time there is a debate on pollution in NCR, this is what it gets reduced to. Haryana ने किया, Punjab ने नहीं किया, UP ने किया, Rajasthan ने नहीं किया. This is what it gets reduced to. Harish ji, you have accused me of something. एक मिनट रुक जाइए. You have accused me of something. You have accused me of not showing the right data. You have accused me of not showing right data. You said you were listening to my package carefully. If you were listening to my package carefully, I said Punjab's farm fires are down by 35%, but they still are the biggest contributors to farm fires with 66%. That is what I said.
Shreya, I said you're not saying a wrong statement. What I said, please compare what Haryana has also done last year. You are saying 35% is down, and also what you are saying for political bickering. Boss, I am putting a actual fact in front of your viewers. This is an actual fact. Agar aap usko political bickering kahenge, this is not my fault. I am putting what central government has done for this. I am also stating कि boss, Haryana, Punjab, and UP तीनों का comparison.
Central government का काम क्या होता है?
Comparing that. If you say this political bickering, I am sorry, sir, ma'am. I am putting the actual fact. Coordination?
Political central government का काम क्या होता है? What coordination have you done? What coordination have you done? Have you asked these 5 states? Wait, what coordination has the central government done? Today the Supreme Court has had to step in and say, do call these states tomorrow and have a meeting with them. The central government and the environment minister of this country knows exactly what happens in November, as Bahar is saying. We know this because this happens every year. And yet no one has the foresight or the political will to call all states together in a room and say, what can we do? The Supreme Court today has said, why have you guys not met? The Supreme Court today has said, all you guys need to meet as early as tomorrow.
Hear me out. Oh, Baba, मुझे मत डांटो. श्रेया, मुझे मत डांटो. थोड़ा सवाल बाकी बॉडी से
नहीं हरीश जी, आपको मैं कैसे डांट सकती हूँ? आप मेरे मित्र हैं. नहीं, आप मेरे मित्र हैं. मैं आपको डांट नहीं रही हूँ. थोड़ा गुस्सा आ जाता है बस.
Hear me out. on a serious note, ma'am, Environment Ministry of Central Government has done a lot of coordination, and 2 months before also we had a coordination meeting also. Unfortunately, the step which central government has asked to take the central from to state government, they are not taking it. As far as financial support is concerned regarding stopping the stubble burning, they've already done it. My only point is when Haryana government has taken strong steps, and the results which are showing in right now that 1,300 odd cases have come up since only this year about stubble burning, why Punjab is not doing it? I'm asking that question. In spite of getting 1 lakh or 50,000 odd CR machines from the central government, still 19,000 cases have come up. My point is this. I'm not doing a political bickering. I'm only saying when Haryana government can do it, why not Punjab?
Okay. I will give you some homework. Just, sir, today ask your team to look at the most polluted cities in the world right now and see how many cities are in Haryana, how many cities are in Punjab, how many cities are in Uttar Pradesh. ठीक है, आप ये करके देख लीजिएगा. By the way, Rajasthan, Bhiwandi, in Rajasthan, ruled by a Congress state, that's the number 1 polluted city in this country. ठीक है, आप ये कर लीजिएगा. आप नहीं, let Sanjeev Kaushik come in. नहीं, आप मुझे मत बताइए, मुझे पता है. आप मुझे पता है. संजीव कौशिक को आने दीजिए. अरे आप आम आदमी पार्टी को भी बोलने दीजिए. वैसे ही वो हमारे चैनल पे लोग नहीं भेजते हैं. रुक जाइए. अब कुछ नो, लेट मी आस्क देम सम क्वेश्चंस. लेट मी आस्क. अरे खुराना जी बोलिए.
Only 5 seconds. इसके बाद का जवाब दूं. Okay. हाँ. Okay. नहीं, I'm only saying. Unfortunately, world's most polluted city of capital is Delhi. Unfortunately, world's most polluted capital of the country. I mean, if you compare the whole world, the most polluted capital is Delhi. Unfortunately, and since last few years. Point is also this.
नहीं, हाँ, ठीक है. No.
And that's the hard fact.
Okay. Sanjeev Kaushik, you know, the Supreme Court has said a lot of things today. And Bahar, I'll come to you in just a bit, and I'll also come to Amit in just a bit. But Sanjeev ji, आज Supreme Court has said a lot of things. And जो ज़्यादा फटकार लगी है, rightly आम आदमी पार्टी को ही लगी है. The Supreme Court is asking a question that all of us are asking. बड़ा सिंपल सा सवाल है. पंजाब में आपकी सरकार है, दिल्ली में आपकी सरकार है. Why on earth have you not been able to control stubble burning in Punjab, which is contributing to the maximum pollution in Delhi right now? Maybe not through the year, but right now.
देखिए, ये बात तो बिल्कुल सही है कि दिल्ली में सबसे ज़्यादा प्रदूषण है. ये कहने में कोई भी शिकायत नहीं है, गुरेज भी नहीं है. यहाँ के बच्चे, बूढ़े, जवान सारे परेशान हैं. हम भी परेशान हैं, हम भी दिल्ली में रहते हैं. लेकिन क्या दिल्ली के बाद सीधे पंजाब कूदना जरूरी है? दिल्ली के बगल में हरियाणा जाना जरूरी नहीं है? उत्तर प्रदेश में जाना जरूरी नहीं है? नोएडा के बारे में जानना जरूरी नहीं है? गाजियाबाद के पोल्यूशन के बारे में बात करना जरूरी नहीं है? राजस्थान की हवाएं जहरीली है, उसके बारे में बात करना जरूरी नहीं है? हम सिर्फ ये कह रहे हैं कि केवल आरोप प्रत्यारोप की राजनीति से प्रदूषण पर कभी नियंत्रण नहीं लगाया जा सकता. भारतीय जनता पार्टी, ठीक है, दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री यहाँ रहते हैं, उनकी जिम्मेवारी है. उन्होंने बड़े बढ़ चढ़ के इस बारे में बात की थी कि हम सब कुछ ठीक कर देंगे. नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. तो क्या देश के प्रधानमंत्री यहाँ नहीं रहते हैं? देश के बाकी मिनिस्टर यहाँ नहीं रहते हैं? क्या उनके पास विशेषाधिकार नहीं है? उनके पास शक्तियाँ नहीं है? यहाँ पे क्या पर्यावरण मिनिस्टर नहीं रहते हैं? जब राष्ट्रीय पर्यावरण मंत्री यहाँ पे रहते हों और एक यदि स्टेट का पर्यावरण मंत्रालय यदि फेल्योर उनको दिखाई दे रहा है, स्वतः संज्ञान लेना चाहिए. हम ये कह रहे हैं कि केवल और केवल अपने अधिकारों का प्रयोग.
संजीव जी, आप क्या कह रहे हैं?
सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेशों को पलट के कानून बनाने के लिए किया जाएगा. भारतीय जनता पार्टी
केजरीवाल से नहीं हो रहा
करेगी. हम
नहीं, संजीव जी, आप क्या कह रहे हैं? आप ये कह रहे हैं कि
एक सरकार
आम आदमी पार्टी से नहीं हो रहा, अरविंद केजरीवाल से नहीं हो रहा, सीधे प्राइम मिनिस्टर को दे दें जिम्मेवारी.
एंटी स्मोक गन 311 लगा दिए गए हैं. कम से कम 86 के आसपास में डस्टिंग के लिए मशीनें लगा दी गई है, धूल करने के लिए यहाँ पे. साथ साथ ग्रेफ 4 लागू कर दी गई है. पूरा कंस्ट्रक्शन निर्माण जो है वो खत्म कर दिया, बंद कर दिया गया है. पानी का छिड़काव चालू है, जो शुरुआती चरण में जो होना चाहिए. लेकिन मैं फिर कह रहा हूँ कि ये नाकाफी है, इससे नहीं होने वाला है. जिस तरह से सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये कहा, आपने ये तो सुन लिया कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दिल्ली सरकार को फटकार लगाई. लेकिन आपने ये नहीं सुना कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि नहीं, केंद्र सरकार को भी पंजाब में धान के बदले दूसरे खेती के लिए प्रेरित करना होगा और ये देखना होगा कि दूसरे कोई फसल उसके बदले में उगाया जाए जिसमें एमएसपी हम दें, लोग प्रेरित हो. इसके बारे में भी सोचने की जरूरत है. ये भी उन्होंने कहा. तो इसके बारे में तो बात नहीं करेंगे आप जब तक समस्या के जड़ में नहीं जाएंगे. और केवल ये 1 महीने के लिए इस तरह की स्थिति रहती है और बैठ कर केवल राजनीति कर लेंगे तो यही होगा. और भारतीय जनता पार्टी
संजीव जी, कितना समय चाहिए जड़ पे जाने के लिए? 8 साल तो हो गए
जी वो
आम आदमी पार्टी को, 8 साल हो गए हैं दिल्ली में, और कितना समय चाहिए जड़ पे जाने के लिए? बाहर नहीं, आप जो कह रहे हैं वो मैं समझ रही हूँ, वो मैंने अपने व्यूअर्स को भी पहले बता दिया था, इसीलिए मैंने इतना लंबा टाइम लिया आप लोगों पर आने के लिए।
प्रदूषण नहीं, ये बात तो आप भी मानती होंगी कि दिल्ली का प्रदूषण, इसमें 69% आसपास के राज्यों का इसमें योगदान है। 31% केवल दिल्ली अपने वजह से प्रदूषित है। इसके बारे में कोई बात नहीं करेगा। हवाओं को रोका जा सकता है क्या? यदि बगल के स्टेट में यदि प्रदूषण हो और वहां से प्रदूषित हवाएं आए तो उसका क्या इलाज किया जाए? जब तक मैंने कहा, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने यह भी कहा कि ये आसपास के जो 5 राज्य हैं वो मिलकर बैठ कर आपस में बात करें, और इस पर उसको कोई मतलब नहीं है कि कौन सी पार्टी कहाँ पे सरकार कर रही है और कौन क्या कर रहा है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट को मतलब ये है कि ये 5 राज्य मिलकर के किस तरह से स्थितियां बेहतर बनाने के लिए कोऑर्डिनेशन
नहीं, वो 5
काम कर रही है। इसके बारे में
वो 5 राज्य तो मिलकर 8 साल में कुछ नहीं कर पाए ना, ऐसा है। वो 5 राज्य मिलकर आज तक तो कुछ नहीं कर पाए। 8 साल हो गए हैं, दिल्ली की हवा जिस तरह की है हम देख रहे हैं। बाहर you've heard the, एक मिनट, बाहर you've heard the politicians and we hear the exact same arguments, एक मिनट, we hear the exact same arguments every year. For the last 6 to 7 years, these are the exact same arguments that we have heard. But I want to ask you, when you hear the Aam Aadmi Party's affidavit in the court, and they've given an affidavit in court saying, हमने ये किया, हमने smoke towers लगाए, there are sprinkling machines, we have stopped construction activity, farm fires also in Punjab are down. How do you react to it, given the fact that pollution levels continue to be as bad? Nothing seems to change despite all the things that are put on paper.
So yeah, the problem is that we've got a deep wound and we're putting Band-Aid on it. What we need is surgery, right? We need drastic measures. And the problem is that the interventions and the policies are all Band-Aid solutions. Odd even is a Band-Aid solution. Smog gun is a Band-Aid solution. Even Parali, when you're giving incentives to farmers, it is a Band-Aid solution. The long-term deep policy interventions, which Sanjeevji was talking about, yes, that needs to be done. But that should happen simultaneously with the middle and the short-term solutions. What I find is GRAP. What is GRAP? They'll tell us, oh, today we've stopped construction activity. Tomorrow the wind is going to be better, so we'll allow construction activity. If you cannot, when your base load of pollution is so high, you cannot allow these exemptions. Look at the press release of the Environment Ministry. It says we allow exemptions for construction of flyovers, for construction of, we are not even designing our cities for cyclists. We are designing our cities only for cars. So there is a long-term orientation which needs to change. There's also a short-term intervention which needs to be more drastic. And I think we're not recognizing that. And I don't want to get into this tutu meme, this blame game, who's more responsible, who's less responsible. All of you need to sit down and get your act together.
And you need to sit down not in November, not on November 7th or November 8th. You need to sit down together in a room in August, on August 7th or September 7th, not November 7th when apocalypse is upon us. Amit Bhatt.
Yes.
Go ahead, complete your point.
I'm just saying that this meeting should have happened in June. In August, we should have had a press release from the Environment Minister saying, here's what I've asked the states to do in the short term, in the interim, and here's my long-term plan. And that long-term plan can only come from the center. As far as short-term solutions are concerned, yes, the Aam Aadmi Party ruled states, yes, do need to, in the short term, they need to step up. They need to tell us, okay, here's how Delhi Pollution Control Board, now it has more officers to ensure enforcement. I want to know how many people have been booked under the Air Act. Are we aware of the fact that we have a Clean Air Act in this country? How many people have been booked? I don't know. I'll stop here.
Okay, Amit Bhatt, quickly to talk about odd and even, I was just trying to tell our viewers that we don't know if odd and even actually works. There is contradictory data. Today, the Supreme Court has said, where is the data that shows us that odd and even works? You are planning to implement it post-Diwali. But where is the scientific data that tells us this will actually work? Because from past experience, it seems that pollution levels drop to merely, what, 3 or 4%. And how does one even begin to explain the exemption of 80 lakh two-wheelers? The entire scheme becomes counterproductive, Amit.
No, absolutely, Shreya. I think what is really interesting is that if we look at the emission which happens inside Delhi, the largest contributor comes from the transport vehicles. So reducing transport emission is vital. Now the question is, schemes like odd and even, can they reduce emission? Theoretically, yes. In fact, you can bring down emission by almost 50%, assuming that on one day you will have odd, the other day you will have even. But then if you start giving exemption, then you are just defeating the whole purpose, because then it does not really give the desired result. So what I'm trying to suggest is odd and even or vehicle restriction scheme is not unique to Delhi. A lot of countries around the world observe it because they want to reduce emission from transportation vehicles, but they implement it in a very holistic manner. In many cases, it is all round the year you have these schemes. And in some cases, we have seen that when the air quality is extreme, you bring in. I think what Delhi really needs is that how can we bring these schemes in a regular manner so that it's not dependent on just the optics of it, but it acts as a real policy driver to bring down emission. So that's one part. The second part I want to also make, currently, the air is toxic, extremely toxic. The question is, if we can do some things which can even bring down 5-10% emission level, I think we should absolutely use it. But the whole purpose will be defeated if we bring in exemption. And last point before I close in, Shreya, you know that particulate matter emission is what we are talking. But if you look at the current PUC regime, the pollution under control certificates, we don't measure for particulate matter and we don't measure for NOx emission. These two emissions are the conversation right now we are having. But the PUC regime does not measure in both these criteria pollutants. So we also have to look at how do we bring in cleaner vehicles? How do we change the regulatory framework so that we can get cleaner air in Delhi? And last, before I close, is that Delhi air pollution is not a winter problem. Please understand, it's a year-round problem. It's just that it becomes worse in winter.
Sanjeev ji, therefore, you know, as I end, I'll give the last word to the two political representatives on the show. Sanjeev, Khurana ji, एक second रुक जाइए. Sanjeev ji, therefore, पूरे साल सोने से काम नहीं बनेगा ना. आप पूरे साल दिसंबर से नवंबर तक सोएंगे, फिर सडनली नवंबर में उठकर इमरजेंसी मीटिंग करेंगे तो काम नहीं बनेगा ना. You have to work on cleaning up Delhi's air and the air of the NCR through the year. That doesn't happen.
मैंने कहा कि इसके
And that is where the problem
हमें
lies.
ये मानने में कोई शिकायत नहीं है कि इस पे सरकार को संजीदगी के साथ इस पे काम करने की जरूरत है. सरकार काम भी कर रही है, लेकिन ये अकेले संभव नहीं है जब तक केंद्र सरकार साथ ना दे. केंद्र सरकार और भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो है वो लगातार इस मुद्दे पर केवल आरोप प्रत्यारोप की राजनीति करती है. यदि मैंने कहा कि दिल्ली की जनता भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जनता नहीं है क्या? केंद्र सरकार की कोई जिम्मेवारी नहीं है क्या? यदि राज्य सरकार पूर्णतः यदि फेल्योर ही हम मान लेंगे तो क्या उनके पास कोई प्लान है? उन्होंने कोई ऐसा प्लान दिया जिस पे काम नहीं किया राज्य सरकार ने? केवल और केवल राज्य सरकार को कोसने से काम नहीं चलेगा. राज्य सरकार पे यदि यकीन नहीं है आपको तो अपने हाथ में लेकर के दिखाइए तो सही, कोई एक प्लान बताइए तो सही. केवल पॉल्यूशन के बारे में चर्चा न करके पॉल्यूशन का सोल्यूशन तो बताइए जिस पे काम करने की जरूरत हो. तो वो काम यदि आप करते हैं तो ज्यादा बेहतर होगा. उस पे काम करने की जरूरत है. मैं लगातार ये बात कह रहा हूं कि दिल्ली सरकार अपने तरीके से काम कर रही है, लेकिन किसी एक स्टेट के बूते नहीं है कि वो अपने स्टेट के पोल्यूशन को खत्म कर दे. आसपास की हवाएं इसके लिए कारक है. आसपास के जो नजदीकी आपके सटे हुए बॉर्डर से सटे हुए जो राज्य हैं, यदि उनके बारे में कोई शिकायत है तो उन्हें भी शामिल करके इस पर लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान बनाने की जरूरत है. और राज्य सरकार के साथ साथ केंद्र सरकार भी अपने हाथ में कमान ले. मैं बार-बार ये बात कह रहा हूँ.
केंद्र सरकार और बीजेपी की सरकारें तो ठीक हैं. देखिए, केंद्र सरकार और बीजेपी की सरकारें तो ठीक हैं, लेकिन नवंबर में सबसे बड़ी जो परेशानी होती है वो तो पंजाब से आती है. वो तो आपका अपना स्टेट है, वहीं पे थोड़ी सफाई करवा दीजिए, वहीं पे थोड़ा आप अपने फार्म फायर्स बंद करवा दीजिए तो शायद बात कहीं आगे बढ़े. हरीश, हाँ, हरीश खुराना, आई गिव यू द लास्ट वर्ड. हाँ,
ये
बोलिए संजीव जी.
Shreya,
ये कहना बहुत आसान है। मैं ये कहना
हाँ बोलिए संजीव जी।
बोलिए हरीश भाई।
Shreya,
मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि ये कहना बहुत आसान है, लेकिन ये आसान काम नहीं है। खेतों में यदि पराली को जला के चाहे खाद बनाने की बात हो, गला के खाद बनाने की बात हो, काट के उसको कहीं ले जा करके यदि उसको किसी और रूप में बनाने की बात हो, ये आसान नहीं है। इसके लिए बहुत बड़े एक बजट की जरूरत होगी। वो चाहे मशीनों से काटने की जरूरत हो या काट के उसको ले जाने की जरूरत हो, इसके लिए बगैर केंद्रीय अनुदान के ये संभव नहीं है। राज्य सरकार यदि केंद्र सरकार से मिलकर ये बात करे और केंद्र सरकार तटस्थ होकर कहे कि नहीं हम आपके साथ खड़े हैं, समस्या खत्म की जा सकती है।
Shreya,
नहीं प्रॉब्लम ये है आप लोग बात कहाँ करते हैं, आप तो लड़ाई करते हैं सिर्फ। अब मैं आपसे फिर पूछती हूँ वो बायोडिकम्पोजर कहाँ है? उसका बड़ा एडवर्टाइजमेंट किया था ना आप लोगों ने लास्ट ईयर, कहाँ है वो बायोडिकम्पोजर्स? उसके एडवर्टाइजिंग के लिए तो बहुत पैसे लगे थे। अब आप बोल रहे हैं कि हमारे पास पैसे नहीं है इसलिए वी कैन नॉट आस्क फार्मर्स टू स्टॉप स्टबल बर्निंग। मिस्टर हरीश खुराना बोलिए। आई डोंट हैव टू मच टाइम
सफल नहीं हो पाए तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि योजनाओं के बारे में जनता को ना बताया जाए।
हरीश जी,
संजीव हो गया।
हरीश जी बोलिए।
संजीव, unfortunately we are
बोलिए।
Sanjeev, Shreya, unfortunately we are dealing with a vigilance chief minister. When I say this, we all know what the solution is. 22% of the total contribution is through vehicle emissions. Unfortunately, since last 12 years, not even a single bus has been introduced under DTC. Not even a single bus. 700 electrical buses have come in only when central government has given to state government. That's the actual fact. And you are expecting today that people should stop their cars and two-wheelers and start traveling in public transport. Where are the public transport? I mean, 12 years back we purchased DTC buses, last 12 years back. आधी buses खराब रहती है सड़कों के ऊपर चलती ही नहीं हैं, and you are expecting the people to have a public transport. Imagine if Delhi, at that time vision of Mr. Madanlal Khurana and Shreya Dikshit, आज दिल्ली में अगर metro ना होती, look at what the situation will be. Point is we don't have a vision. A CM which have a vision right now. You talk about dust particles. 9-10% is a contributor of that. Where are the machines? Where are the machines to do that? You have promised 7 years back you are going to introduce these machines to remove these dust particles. Where are those machines? At least वो काम तो करिए जो आपके हाथ में हो. You don't do that thing. You only are doing political bickering, blame game, topi transfer. That's it. The solution is very simple. Public transport should be promoted.
The BJP can be accused of exactly that.
Mechanical sweeping should be introduced immediately.
Mr. Khurana, the BJP can be accused of exactly that.
What?
जब आपको intervene करना होता है by the LG, the BJP intervenes in Delhi, na?
Is it my job? Is it my job?
No. Tell me something. The people of Delhi have chosen the Aam Aadmi Party, but how many MPs does Delhi have? And which party do all those MPs belong to? Harish ji.
I have just told you what all.
दायित्व आपका भी बनता है.
Just tell me one thing. No. Just tell me one thing. Hey, Shreya, hear me out now. You want to answer? Central government ने आपको Eastern Western Peripheral दिया. Central government ने आपको धौला कुआं highway दिया. Central government has given you a Ghazipur Delhi Meerut expressway दिया. Ma'am, these are contributors to reduce pollution. Why are you not getting understand? That these are the measures which are reducing the pollution of Delhi. Unfortunately, the part of Delhi bringing on the buses to have, I can travel in metro. Where's the last mile connectivity? We don't have it. Problem is, you expecting Paris or London, but the people over there use public transport. Over here, we don't use it. Sorry?
ठीक है हरीश जी. We are not expecting Paris and London. I'm saying people in Delhi are not that delusional that they will expect Paris and London in Delhi as far as air is concerned. But Bahar, last word to you as a citizen. ठीक है.
No, Shreya, I'm saying something else. No, Shreya, आप बीच में रोक देते हो. My only saying is promote public transport so that vehicles should come down. Vehicle emissions should come down. We don't have buses. Today we require 14,000 buses in Delhi. We have only 7,000.
Okay.
Point is this.
ठीक है, हो गया. I think you have made your point, Bahar. I'll give you 10 seconds and then Amit wants to say something. Go ahead.
No, Mr. Khurana is contradicting himself. Yes, he's talking about public transport, very valid, needed. And then he gave the example of these 3 expressways. Those expressways just get in more cars into Delhi. So let's please not be unscientific about the way we're talking about the problem. I want that your viewers who are watching and listening, they should not go away more cynical. There are solutions. There are cities of this world that have cleaned up their air. They've managed to do it by bringing odd even through the year. So if we have to do that, we must, because our health is priority. So please don't bring in odd even just, when we are sitting on this base load of very heavy pollution. There are solutions, but for that, all these politicians who are on your panel, they will have to accept that business as usual and exemptions will not work. It's time for drastic action and these people need to wake up. That's all. I will stop here.
All right, we'll leave it there then. Thank you very much, Bahar, for joining us. Amit, thank you very much. हो गया? अरे
60,000
भाई
tons
मेरे
don't come
पास
to
अब
Delhi.
टाइम नहीं है खुराना जी मेरा काम I don't have any more time, but I'm sure we'll be discussing pollution for the days to come. अभी दिवाली भी बची है. Let's wait. Pollution levels are expected to peak after that, so we'll continue to have this conversation because all of us know what Delhi is going to look like in the next 5 to 6 days. Harish ji, thank you very much for your time. Sanjeev Kaushik, thank you very much. Bahar, good to have you on the show. And Amit Bhatt, thank you very much for your time as well. On that note, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's more on the other side. Do stay with us.